In this episode, I'll be teaching you guys how to beat fire mages. I don't know if it's a good idea for me to be posting this video because it's pretty much letting you guys know how to beat me. So, you know, maybe one of you guys can take my spot one day. So if you're interested in that, definitely stick around. In fire mirror duels, it's pretty hectic. The duels all revolve around just setting up a burst, forcing their defensives quickly, and also spell stealing their buffs so you can stay ahead of the fight. Spell stealing is one of the major aspects in this mirror match, so you definitely want to put that on a comfortable keybind so you can spell steal as fast as possible, and you can definitely flip games just by spell stealing one important buff. In this mirror match, I like to use the basis build that I normally use by default. I really like Temporal Shield in this matchup because when you use Ice Barrier, the enemy can just spell steal it and it'll benefit them more than you. Temporal Shield can be stolen as well, but the thing is it only lasts 4 seconds, so there's more of a dilemma for the enemy to deal with. Like for example, say you Temporal Shield, either they burst into you and you heal yourself back, or they can spell steal it off you and do no damage into you, and within that time you can spell steal their pyro off them. You know what I mean? Because you're only going to Temporal Shield if they do have a hot streak buff, and you know that damage is going to come. As for Blazing Speed or Palm, I like Palm because I want instant frost shots obviously. I feel like Blazing Speed could be alright for like kiting, but it's mostly better for melee. I feel like Blink does the job more than enough in this mage fight. Also, you could use Blazing Speed to rush in and get a quick Dragon's Breath so the enemy can't react to it, but in my opinion I still prefer Palm, but I think both could work depending on your playstyle. When it comes down to the actual fight, when I like to generate pyros, I do it the 8-second way with Infernal Blast. But to get early pressure in mage fights, I actually like to Infernal Blast, Combustion, then Infernal Blast to get the instant Pyro Blast. Make sure you leave the 1-second global in between so you don't get locked out during the global and lose your Pyro. And then you can chuck it in and Blanket Silence them into it so they can't blink, which will force a trinket or a block. This really puts you ahead of the fight in mirror matches, and I really like to do this a lot of the time. Plus, people don't really see it coming because it's more of a unique tactic. So like I said earlier, spell stealing is a huge part of the mage mirror duels. You want to make it a habit to spell steal as much as possible in between your free globals. It does take up a lot of mana, so you don't want to spam it too much, so you want to also rotate a mana gem in between those spell steals. Keeping the mage clean will ultimately give you the upper hand because when they do get important buffs such as Palm or Hot Streak, you can have a better chance of getting them quicker. Also, when you get a hot streak, you want to try to use it as fast as possible as well so they can't spell steal it unless you can control them. A really cool combo is using Alter Time with the Ice Block glyph. So if you Alter Time right as you come out of Ice Block, you know how you're immune for 3 seconds to any spells? If you Alter Time it, you'll be immune for 6 seconds instead. So if you can combo this up with Palm or Hot Streaks, then this will just really make you a killing machine for 6 whole seconds. So as always, now I'm going to commentate one of the duels I had with Volkazar. We're actually fighting under Ice Crown right now, and I never knew about this area. He showed me, and I think it's really interesting. I thought I literally knew every area in the World of Warcraft, but I guess there are still some places that are yet to be discovered. So first things first, before the duel starts, I'm going to apply my Incanto Sword so I can get my spell power buff. And right as the duel starts, I'm going to Infernal Blast him, Blanket Silence, and Poly him. This is not the opener I always do. I always mix things up. There's 3 different ways to do it. But in this duel, I really just wanted to Blanket Poly him, then catch him off guard. I get the Polymorph off, and he instantly trinkets it, which is good. Now he has no trinket. He's then going to combust me right here to get his proc, but he does fail to do so and misses his Nova. I get my Pyro proc, and I'm going to combust him at the same time as I chuck my Pyro because I don't want him to steal it. But unfortunately, he does get the spell steal off before my Pyro lands. So he's going to steal my Pyro, and I'm going to Temporal Shield it because I can't spell steal him in time. I'm then going to Infernal Blast to get another Hot Streak proc, but he Dragon's Breaths me at the same time and spell steals it. So I'm actually going to Ice Block here thinking he's going to chuck it at me, but he doesn't. So I'm going to quickly come out and spell steal my Pyro back. He tries to Invis, but I'm going to Pyro into that Invis to stop him from getting away. That gets an RNG crit, so I'm going to Infernal Blast, get another Hot Streak, Palm Alter Time, Frost Shot, and right as I Frost Shot, he's going to just preemptively block it to avoid all that damage overall. Instead of taking all the Pyro hits and then blocking, he was smart enough to just block right as he saw me pop my cooldowns. So now that he's blocked, I'm going to wait up my altar a little bit, alter back, and blink away. The reason I try to make as much distance as I can is because Once he comes out of Ice Block, he's going to be immune to all spells for 3 seconds because he's using Ice Block glyph. So that means if I stayed near him, he could just spam Spell Steal my Palm and Hot Streak off me, or free cast a Poly and then Spell Steal me, which would pretty much not help me at all. So to completely avoid all of that, I'm just going to make some distance and line of sight him so he can't steal all my valuable buffs and get a free setup. I'm going to eat a little bit, and as he pushes in and as the Ice Block glyph expires, I'm going to push in as well. And I'm going to spam Polymorph here, but unfortunately he does get Counterspell off before I can land my Polymorph. He's then going to Spell Steal my Palm and Palm Poly me into a Frostjaw Shatter. I try to blink it and blanket his Hot Streak proc so I can steal it, but he does get it off before I can do that. I'm going to Infernal Blast him, and I'm going to Frostjaw here to set up a Shatter combo, but he combusts me right as I land it, so I'm stunned and can't Deep Freeze off of it. So I'm going to dot him up. I'm about to get another Hot Streak here for Infernal Blast, but he blinks in and Dragon's Breath is my proc, so I can't actually get a Hot Streak, which kind of sucks. He's then going to Nova me and Palm Ultra Time and Palm Pyro me into the Nova for guaranteed crits. I also at the same time try to Combust Inferno to get my Hot Streak, but he Alter Times right as I do it. He's then going to Alter back, and now he's another Palm. I'm actually going to steal that Palm, but he steals it back as I chuck my Hot Streak. And now he's going to try to Frostjaw Shatter me, so I'm going to preemptively Temporal Shield it right before the Frostjaw lands, because if I'm Frostjaw silenced, I cannot Temporal while I'm silenced, so I'm going to do it before it lands to absorb all that damage. He's going to Shatter off of it, get a Pyro, but it's all good because I do absorb all of that. He gets another Pyro, and that one actually RNG crits, so I'm actually going to have to block right here. I come out instantly and silence him to chuck my Pyro, but he blocks as well. So once again, I'm going to blink away, and this time I'm going to get an Invis off. And I do get it off, and I see him in the open, so I try to instantly cast a Frostjaw, but he does line of sight it because he's smart. So I'm going to run in there a little bit. I'm going to try to Dragon's Breath him. I do get the Dragon's Breath before he does, so I'm going to free cast a Frostjaw, Shatter off of it with an Ice Lance, and down he goes. So as you can see, these duels are very fast paced, and things can just flip in a matter of seconds with Spell Steal. So you really have to stay on your toes and try to get those CCs and Spell Steals off as fast as possible. He also did a good job of stopping me from getting my Pyros off, which is really good on his part. So try to do the same when you verse other Fire Mages.